Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of Telecom Reseller, and I'm pleased to bring you Micah Singer of Kurmi. Micah, thank you for joining me today.
Doug, I love talking to you. Thanks for having me on.
Well, our readers and listeners might recognize you from former things you've done in our industry. You've been there and done that. We're going to be talking about Kurmi, but we're really going to be talking about the thing that's happening to so many of our readers and people that are watching and listening. We're going through a process of migration which involves a multi-vendor environment. And that migration, that digital transformation, a lot of stuff happening, that's kind of difficult to manage. And we're going to be talking about just that. But before we dive into that, Micah, what is Kurmi?
Yeah, so Kurmi is is a software company that makes service management software, historically for provisioning, and historically focused towards very large businesses where provisioning and managing their digital workforce becomes really complex. So we have software tools that work with many of the leading vendors to large enterprise, notably Avaya, Cisco, Microsoft, Alcatel-Lucent, um, Mitel, and lots of smaller systems that generally are added on. And we, it's an efficiency play at its core. It helps people provision these systems with more ease and automation.
So it sounds like whatever your situation is, what you've got installed, the network you built, the network you may have inherited from other people and different things, corporate mergers, what have you, your Kermi is it's ready for you. You can handle it. You can handle the different brands and labels that you're encountering out there.
Yeah, we're the company's 12 years old now, so we can handle the brands that are out there now, but also the various sequences of firmware that have come out over time. Some people, especially large companies, upgrade and migrate and manage their technology at their pace, and that's what they should be able to do. And so we meet them where they sit, both in terms of the systems they're using and also when they want to manage multiple systems, migrate, and so forth. And we try and we try and simplify the process, and that's really been the secret sauce is bring it all into a single pane of glass to make it easier for the huge cadre of IT managers that are at a lot of these big companies, and we do work with service providers as well.
Well, let me pick up on something you just mentioned right off the bat, which was simplification. So, am I getting this right that that is a primary thing that you offer?
Right. Yeah. So these systems and historically PBX systems, but more recently UC systems and UCaaS systems and collab systems are quite complex. I mean, there's provisioning and there's governance and there's different things that big businesses want to control on those systems, and to do it, they would need uh, highly trained specialists who sometimes leave their jobs or change jobs and leave you in the lurch. There's all kinds of different packages and layers of types of employees, a frontline worker versus a white collar knowledge worker. Um, so Kermi lets you bundle it all up and provision. And I mean, the provisioning is nice, but really the rubber hits the road when you start doing automation, because then you can take the human equation out, save a lot of time, save a lot of errors.
I was going to ask you about that next. Talk to me about automation.
Right. I mean, so what's the common scenario? You end up with you add a new employee, you put them in a directory, a Cisco directory, or an Azure directory, or some kind of a directory, and there's a waterfall of things that need to happen, or a workflow, as we call it. So our software has the flexibility to allow you to create these workflows that are customized to whatever challenge you're trying to meet in your company, or if you're a service provider, your customer's company. Um, and that automation, again, it enhances time savings and efficiency. And I said it before, but it's worth saying again. I mean, you know, it mistakes aren't unknown when humans are involved. So removing the human equation of not requiring human expertise or human fingers on keyboards actually makes things faster and more accurate. So this is where we focus. We've zeroed in on that.
I imagine that, and this has always been historically true, many of our, and I'm just thinking here of the large enterprise readers and listeners, these are very self confident people. They'll try on their own to do what you're describing. And I was thinking, is that the optimal way? Is there optimization available down that path, or does Kermi offer maybe a different way to achieve optimization?
Yeah, it's a great question because what we found, our research is showing that um, our biggest competitor I mean, there are some companies that sort of look like us out there, and we do compete a bit with them, but we also all the companies that sort of look like Kermi, our biggest competitor is a do-it-yourself approach. It's a home companies building homegrown systems, and I mean, I understand the incentive to want to keep keep the control. Make sure you have, you can make things happen with your internal team when you want it to happen. And where we've really focused and are maybe among our peers where our strength is supporting this do-it-yourself model by offering very customizable tools that, and I said, large enterprises and service providers can use to get the outcomes they want. So, instead of starting with Microsoft Excel as your spreadsheet with your numbers and your list of employees, which is more common than you think, or people write scripts and people have much more advanced things as well. But instead of starting with that, you start with this really custom built software that allows you flexibility. And, essentially it's like a really cool tool set that even do-it-yourselfers at large enterprises can use to get outcomes more quickly and with much more efficiency. So we often see customers, large companies come in and they say, we tried it ourselves and now we're going with Kermi. But another way of looking at it is we tried it ourselves and we took off the shelf tools and stuff like that. But now we still want to do it ourselves, but we want to do it with Kermi as a toolkit. So that's
Yeah,
that, and we love that.
it sounds to me like also part of your differentiation story is that you're giving people an option to choose best of breed products and services across all sorts of platforms, plus whatever they've inherited as legacy choices, pull it together and not have to worry too much about how it's being pulled together.
Yeah, so we're 120 person company, and I appreciate you saying that we're giving people choices, but really people are making their own choices and we're responding to them. I mean, big companies end up with heterogeneous systems, a little bit of Avaya, a little bit of Cisco, a little bit of Microsoft, and um, and they want to make these choices. I mean, sometimes it's overlapping, but sometimes they use Zoom for meetings and Microsoft for collab and Cisco for UC, and that's it. Those are best of breed systems, and our response to that is a multi-vendor, single pane of glass. These automation tools I talked about across the vendors that our customers want, and not the ones that we don't actually dictate much to them. They tell us what they want, but that's how we've grown up, is responding to very large enterprises and their heterogeneous needs.
So, it sounds to me like, you're allowing people to sort of, in a sense, curate the products and services that are best for them. Plus, as I mentioned, whatever legacy choices that companies are choosing to carry on and so on. But, you have these connectors that you were mentioning. What happens if I need to go beyond that?
Right. So no company can be all things to all people. And so what we've done over the years is we've built teams that maintain connectors to some of the leading UC collab systems. But maybe as importantly, is we've built tools for integration that are relatively easy to use, an SDK for integration to other systems, APIs for calls from management ITSM systems like ServiceNow and Workday. So it's not just about our crystal ball is just like everyone's, is a little bit hazy. But one thing it isn't hazy on is we know integration is important, and we know we need to make that easy, and we know we're going to get requests that we haven't built yet. So we have the tools for letting people build it and helping them build it if they want us to help.
Mike, as ever, it's always a pleasure and a lot of fun to talk to you. I always like getting caught up. I'm glad our readers got to learn a little bit more about how you're the best of the rest, so to speak, in the stuff you do, and also how you are trying to pull things together for people living with multi-vendor environments. Where can we learn more?
Absolutely, go to our website. It's Kurmi-software.com. It is we're about to roll out a new website in about 2-3 weeks. So go check out our old one. It's a blast from the past a little, and the new one's going to be spectacular. And it's easy to contact us, and it's we love complex requirements and trying to help you get to the bottom of these large enterprise type problems.
Well, again, Mike, I want to thank you for joining me to the most interesting, and I'm looking forward to our next podcast. But for now, thanks very much.
Thanks a lot, Doug. Great talking to you.